If George Polya were alive today, he might say that Dylan Williams' 5 principles of learning are in fact just facets of the principle of active learning. Dylan Williams talks about the first principle is that you got to start from where a student's at. That if you try to layer new information on top of what a student does or doesn't understand without beginning from where they're at, you're just creating problems rather than solutions and making it difficult to learn. The second principle is that learning can't be done for students, it has to be done by students. So I had a conversation with a teacher the other day who felt that a curriculum so heavy with perhaps 100 or more different learning outcomes was such that they had to spend maybe 80% of their time delivering or presenting information to students. And I wonder about that, because is that really learning being done for the students, or is it being done by the students when what's happening is information is being presented? The teacher felt they couldn't realistically ask students to dive into the information in different ways and use different activities because time just didn't permit. I wonder about that. There's a whole host of questions that come to mind about that. But the third principle is that students have to talk about what they're learning. And so if students have to talk about their learning, then time's got to be built in there for students to do just that. If they're not talking about what they're learning, I don't think they're learning it. The fourth principle is students need to know what excellence looks like. They need to know what the target is, and they need to know where they stand in relation to that target. And lastly, students have to be given information on how to get better at what they're doing. That's the principle of active learning, or 5 facets thereof. If those things aren't what's going on in our classrooms, I wonder, are we trying to do learning for the students, or are we trying to situate learning or create conditions whereby learning is done by students? What do you think?